Hi, I'm John and welcome to another episode of IR Customer Service TV. In this episode we're going to cover sort of preemptively some questions that we may get about a new product of ours, the SPD skirt. SPD stands for Simple But Dry, and this skirt is a little bit different than a traditional spray skirt that's popular here in the United States. This is the SPD skirt here, and we call it an apron style skirt, and it's kind of a term we made up, but it's also a style skirt that's very popular in Europe. And what this is basically a flat piece of neoprene with a bungee sewn right on top of it. Now on the underside there's some sticky stuff here we're going to get into in a second, but to contrast this basic construction with a more traditional spray skirt like this guy here, this skirt has what we call a casing around it and a bungee sewn onto the casing. And by having it as two separate pieces, you get some three-dimensional shape to the skirt, and it allows the skirt to hook underneath the back of the rim a little bit easier as you put the skirt on. The advantages to this SPD style apron skirt is that it's a little bit simpler construction. There's no extra seams on the deck, and that by sewing the bungee on a flat piece of neoprene, it actually allows you to let about 2 or 3 inches of neoprene hang over the edge of the skirt, and as you put the skirt on, that neoprene is going to be flaring out of the way and you'll be able to tuck it under the rim. It makes a very dry seal. However, because the skirt is not articulated like a traditional casing style skirt like this guy here, it does present it does require a little bit different technique to put the skirt on. That's what we're going to cover here today. All right. Here we are in our test boat. This is a Wavesport ZG, which is actually, it's a large cockpit boat, but it's on the big side. It's about 34 inches long and about 14 or 15 inches wide up here at the top, which makes it for a bigger rim. So this is a good example rim for us to use. Now, because this skirt is not articulated, it doesn't want to hook onto the back of the rim as well. That's one of these skirts here. And so what you're going to have to do is, before you put it on, is to take care to tuck that thing under the rim really well. Now, as you put the skirt on, you're going to be mindful of that tendency for the skirt to pop out from under that rim. And if you don't keep tension on it, it's going to want to slide out. So as we put the skirt on, we're going to want to keep tension on the back end of the skirt here. Now, one of the things that the skirt has is a good deal of silicone silk screened onto the underside of the skirt. Now that's going to seal very well against the lip of your boat. And it's also going to prevent implosions against these long sides of the cockpit rim here. However, the same substance here is going to make it challenging to put the skirt on in traditional fashion. Oftentimes when people put a skirt on, they take the skirt and they slide it forward along the rim. You cannot slide the stuff against the rim, it's just too sticky. What this skirt requires is that, like I mentioned, you get this back end of the skirt tucked under here. You grab it here, and I have tension on the back end of the skirt. What you're going to do is actually pick the skirt up a little bit and then reach forward like that. And that'll allow you to put the rim under. Okay, let's look at that one more time. What I'm going to do is tuck the skirt under the back end of the rim. I'm going to grab it right here. Now I'm keeping tension on the back end of the skirt. I'm going to pick the skirt up and push it down. And then I can finish putting it on the front end of the skirt. By putting it right here and sticking it down, allow me to move my hands forward. Of course, as I'm pulling it forward, you're also going to be pulling it out. If you pull it in like that, it's going to pull the back end of the skirt off, the back end of the skirt off the back of the boat. Now, some rims are closer to the deck of the boat than others. Like I've tried this on some Jackson boats where the rim is very, very close to the deck. It's going to require that you actually tuck the bungee underneath the rim like that. And this is going to make a very, very dry seal. It's going to seal like a Tupperware lid. And of course, that sticky stuff is going to keep the skirt from imploding. It's going to be a very difficult skirt to implode. However, it's not going to impede your ability to get out of the skirt. When it comes time to get out, it's going to peel off just like any other skirt does. So, in a nutshell, that's the SPD skirt, and a couple tricks to getting the skirt on. And we make this in a large cockpit, an extra large cockpit to fit all the big boys. So, there you go.